welcome to a brand new episode of Coming Distractions brought to you by the Nerdpocalypse podcast. I'm your host, Jay, here with my co-host, Jack.
Hey guys, what's going on?
All right, guys, we're back. We're going to talk about John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. This is the third John Wick movie starring Keanu Reeves, co-starring Ian McShane, Halle Berry, Lance Reddick, Lawrence Fishburne, and Mark Dacascos. Now, Jack, you've seen all of these John Wick movies. I've seen the first two, obviously, but tell us your thoughts. You're a huge Keanu Reeves fan as well. So.
Huge Keanu Reeves fan. I'll always be here for any Keanu Reeves movie because he's my heart. Man, they kind of preface this with a little bit of the Bill and Ted stuff too. So anyway, beyond my love for Keanu Reeves, I'm a big fan of the franchise. I really like these movies and sort of the new genre of action movie they kind of developed with that. It was a departure from the Bourne Identity series of those quick cuts and the close-ups and all that jazz. These movies are really known for featuring their actors. So your action sequences are in your face. You can see what's happening. They're long cuts. I mean, that's one of my favorite things about these movies.
And it's funny because that's my least favorite thing about the Bourne movies is the quick cutting and stuff like that because I can't tell what's happening.
Right. And
which is why these were refreshing.
These movies, for sure. I mean, every frame is you're following the actor and you can see everything. It's great.
Yep.
So that's why I love these movies, besides my love for Keanu. Loved the first one. Thought the second one was a little bit slow and boring compared to the first one.
I 100% agree with you.
Like, the action scenes to me got a little bit repetitive. The thing that sticks in my mind most is watching Keanu Reeves do like combat forward somersaults in that. Because basically it's every move and it just gets to the point where it's like, all right, this is cool. There were some cool scenes in that with the pencil and some other stuff.
Sure.
But it wasn't quite as good. And if you remember, that movie ended with him getting his privileges revoked and he's about to become excommunicado to the world of assassins. He's got like an hour to get clear of wherever he thinks he can go before the assassins go after him. So that's the lead into this. It starts right there.
Nice. Cool.
At that moment of the end of the second movie.
Oh, okay.
So bang, you're right back into it. And it is wild. It's so good. They clearly heard the criticisms from the second movie.
Good.
There is no repetitive action scene anywhere in this. This has two of the most inventive action sequences I've ever seen committed to film.
Okay. Wow.
To date. And that's including The Raid and all of the other, great action films that we've had in the last half decade.
Right.
People from The Raid are in this, by the way.
Yeah, I've heard.
It is a phenomenal movie. It's so good. It's so inventive. It's so funny. Mark Dacascos is amazing as the main villain. Halle Berry is amazing in her scene. All of her training paid off. I mean, it's another movie starring Keanu Reeves where you can see everyone involved did all the training, all the work to make it as real as possible.
That's awesome.
It's all right there for you. Unfortunately, she's only in it for like 8 minutes. That's kind of the biggest drawback to her part of the movie. But with that said, there are a couple of things that I would say are a detractor. If you're coming to this movie for story in any way, go ahead and check out. The first two at least had, there was some world building and other stuff that they sort of took a little bit seriously. This one, the movie literally exists to get John Wick from one fight scene to another.
Okay, and that's fair.
There is story, but it makes no sense whatsoever. So just go ahead and check out on the plot, like right away.
Don't worry, I already have.
Yeah, just check right out. Pay zero attention to what's actually going on. There's a little bit of the end of the second half into the third act that is a little bit slow. We could have cut out some of that, I feel like. And the biggest drawback of the whole movie, I will say, is that Keanu Reeves is starting to get old.
Moving a little slower.
50s, right?
Yeah.
And so this particular style of filming where they're really concentrating on the actors and you can see everything that's happening, he's starting to get a little old for that. So you can see him like sort of preparing for some of the moves that are coming, and the cinematography of it becomes a little bit more obvious. The choreography of the moves that are happening.
A little more obvious.
Yeah, a little bit more obvious on him.
That's fair.
Because he's getting a little old and slow. Whatever. He's still John Wick. And that's really the only bad things I would have to say about this. Every actor in the movie exists to love Keanu Reeves. There's a lot of really funny in-jokes from the whole series. There's a scene with dogs that is amazing. Could even bring Micah back to the fold of actually liking dogs. Man, it's just great. It's laugh out loud violence.
All right, I'm in. Like that. Look, for me, a lot of people liked 2, which I didn't understand. I just did not feel
Okay.
that 2 was to the caliber of 1.
Sure.
It sounds like this is more of a return to form and like almost an amp up from 1.
It is, and I'm glad you just said that because I forgot to mention the most important thing. They amped up the violence. Like they could do that, you'd think, but
Right.
This is headshots blow people's heads in half. There's a very early on scene that is a prolonged puncture wound that you're immediately like, oh, they're getting serious with this one. And when I say laugh out loud, like that's what we did the entire movie. I took my best friend to see it, and we just sat there and laughed at the hilarity of the violence that was occurring because it's just so damn good. It's really a great movie. It's quite the return to form. It sets up with a climax, obviously, with a cliffhanger for where they'll go next. If they just, of course, they will, because they'll make money off of this.
Oh, undoubtedly.
I will say that I don't feel like there needs to be another one. I would like to see them do a TV series where John Wick is kind of like the boogeyman.
Well, and that's I think that was the rumor, is that they're planning on sort of doing a show about that universe,
which I think would be great, specifically because of the way they end this. But I guarantee you, this movie's going to make a shit ton of money.
Good.
So they'll make a 4th one. They have to. It's going to make so much money. There's no choice.
All right. Well, there you go. So if you had to give a score for
4 out of 5 stars, solid, excellent action film, the best of the John Wick series.
Wow. Okay. So better than the first one too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Excellent movie. Go see it. 100%.
All right. There you go. 4 out of 5 for John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, and we will see you guys next time.
Later.
Bye. You're watching the Nerdpocalypse YouTube channel. Make sure you click that button to subscribe and check out our weekly podcast where we talk about movie, TV, news, tech, and weird stories from around the internet.